Hello, everyone. If you like what I'm doing here, please consider subscribing, liking, and commenting. It would really help the channel out quite a bit. Thank you very much.
That was swell, Reuben. Now, don't faint.
Listen, Eddie, never mind about that. We hear lots of music, but what I'm interested in is Hollywood, you know? I can't hear enough about it. I guess everybody feels that way, too. Listen, tell us something of the intimate doings of the picture colony. You know, the things that are...
Oh, you want dirt. Oh. Well, listen. Some of those people in Hollywood have places with 8 rooms and 11 swimming pools, and do they throw parties? You know, at the end of each party, the furniture's swimming in a different pool, and are they wild?
Say, Eddie, I noticed those couple of blue marks there on the back of your neck. Did someone bite you?
Well, not exactly, but I gave Claudette Colbert a bungalow, and those are the blueprints.
Well, Eddie, you know, I didn't know that you were carrying on that way.
Quiet. Winchell might be listening. And get a load of this. You know, the first day I arrived in Hollywood, a certain foreign star, a blonde Venus with $1 million legs, called me up and asked me to come over to her house. I ran quickly and told my boss, Samuel Goldwyn, and he called her on the phone and said, listen here, I'm paying this guy Cantor $2,000 a day, and he's out here to make pictures. I can't have him running around nights, so he can't work days. $2,000 is a lot of money. Please leave him alone.
Well, did she?
Well, Jimmy, the next day the Satan Star sent my boss a letter saying, enclosed fine check for $14,000, send Eddie over for a week. Well, sir, when I got back, you know, Goldman wouldn't talk to me for a couple of days.
Yeah, but you finished your picture of the kid from Spain for him, didn't you?
Oh, yes, I did that. All right.
You know, I understand there's a great bullfight in that picture, Eddie. Tell me, did you really go in and fight the bull, or did you have a double?
Oh, Jimmy, the work was too dangerous for a double. Oh.
Did you play the part of the toreador, Eddie?
Shows you how much you know about bullfights. Jimmy, it takes 5 people to throw the bull. The toreador, the picador, and the matador.
That's only 3. Who are the other 2?
Open the door and close the door.
Well, what else happened to you?
Well, this is a funny experience. You know, I put my hand in the bull's mouth to see how many teeth he had, and the bull closed his mouth to see how many fingers I had. But kidding aside, Jimmy, you know, I actually went into the ring with an $8,000 bull.
Yeah, some bull.
Quiet. I'll get the laugh. And when you say that smart, you know, the second time I went in with this bull, I had an accident.
Did he gore you?
No, he bit me. This is on the level. You know, when they get mad, they're like dogs, bulldogs, you know. I was rushed to the hospital. It looked pretty serious for a while, and I asked the doctor for a pencil and paper. The doctor said, don't worry, Mr. Cantor, it's not that bad. Even if you have hydrophobia, we'll cure you. You don't have to make out a will. I told him, I said, I don't want to make out a will. I want to make a list of the people I'd like to bite.
That's pretty good, Eddie.
Yeah, don't laugh. You were the second one on the list.
Oh, yeah? Well, who was the first?
Rubinoff, the old potato.
Say, listen, Eddie, from what I've been reading in the papers about the kid from Spain, it must be a great production.
Great, Jimmy, you don't know. It's colossal. It's stupendous. It's gigantic. Well, it's pretty good.
I understand there are a lot of good songs in the picture, Eddie. Why don't you sing us the best one?
Oh, no, I won't do that. But I'll sing you the worst one.
Well, why not the best?
For the best one, people should go and see the picture. Cantor's no fool. I just fell, hook, line, and sinker for the sweetest gal in town. I'm all bound up with a brand new love affair. I can't tell which way I'm going, 'cause the world is upside down. I know that I'm gone, the panic is on. She has lips that taste like wine. I like hers, she likes mine. What a perfect combination. No wonder we're in love. When she sits upon my knee, I take fits, and so does she. What a perfect combination. No wonder we're in love. She taught me one thing. love is only what you make it. And I know one thing, she can dish it out and I can take it. We both want a family. I want twins and so does she. What a perfect combination. No wonder we're in love. I like bread, she likes jam. I like eggs, she likes ham. What a perfect combination. No wonder we're in love. Can she cook? Can she sew? She can sew and sew and sew. What a perfect combination. No wonder we're in love. Once she liked crooning, used to go for Rudy's Valley. We started spooning. Now her radio is in the alley, fragrant as a blushing rose. Wish I had Durante's nose. What a perfect combination. No wonder we're in love.
Is coffee your weakness? Then science has wonderful news for you. If you're a normal, healthy adult, you don't have to say no thanks when you're offered a delicious second cup. But science says that coffee must be fresh. Coffee that is fresh is good for you. The rancid oils that develop in stale coffee often cause headaches, indigestion, and sleeplessness, while coffee that's fresh is healthfully stimulating to the digestion. So be sensible, you coffee lovers. Use Chase and Sanborn's dated coffee if you want to linger over that marvelous second cup. This coffee can't be stale because it's delivered fresh to your grocer, and he sells it fresh to you. Try a pound of Chase and Sanborn's dated coffee tomorrow. The date on every can is your protection. Rubinoff and his violin. His solo, Some of These Days. You know, Eddie, I've been thinking about all that scandal that you told about Hollywood. Were you telling me the truth?
No, Jimmy. The truth is much worse. You know, next to the picture business, Hollywood's finest local output is scandal. A scandal out there is sacred. You know, I confided a secret to 3 people all told, and they all told. Here's how it spread.
Tell me about it.
I confided to my chauffeur that I saw Norma Shearer pay a visit to a rival studio at 5 o'clock. He told the garage man that a new star, Norman Shearer, was signed up by the Rivoli Studios for 5 years. The garage man told the barber that an enormous sheriff was over at the Rivoli Studios to collect 5 months' rent. The next day, the barber told me the story, illustrated with cuts.
What did he say?
He said horses with sheriffs just cleaned the Ravioli Studios and found 500 chorus girls dressed without clothes, and that he knew it personally from Eddie Cantor, who came to his house. How do you like that?
Boy, that's certainly twisting things around, Eddie.
Ah, but Jimmy, you know, the people in Hollywood aren't really bad. They were all good once. They just like to play follow the leader. Only if the leader is going downhill, they're ahead of him. Fads in Hollywood are as catching as the measles. You know, if Barbara Stanwyck gets a new necklace from her husband, every star in Celluloid City gets a new necklace or a new husband. And, you know, and since Bebe Daniels had a baby, the stalk is on the verge of a nervous breakdown supplying Hollywood.
That's scandalous.
In Hollywood, they read scandal into everything. If a lady star complains of chapped lips, they ask her who is the chap. And if a director is out shooting a picture and wants 3 more days of grace, they say he wants 3 more days of Greta. And the way they blacken a man's reputation, Jimmy, it's awful. You know, they go around saying that Clark Gable is really a henpeck at home, that his wife beats him and makes him wash the dishes while she goes out to see his latest pictures. That's a lie. They've got him mixed up with me.
Why, do you ever do housework, Eddie?
Why do housework? It's one of those Hollywood lies. Of course, I mend stockings once in a while and make the beds and do a little dusting and buy groceries. But when my wife wants me to wear pink chemises with all kinds of colored ribbons in order to fool the baby at night, that's too much now.
Well, Eddie, all that reminds me, I almost forgot to ask you about your kids. How are those lovely girls?
Jimmy, you've touched a soft spot in my heart. You know, they're swell. All but the little one. That's Janet. You know, she's 5. Since we went to Hollywood, she's fresher than ever.
She must be pretty bad.
Well, one day about 2 weeks ago, she did something terribly naughty, which exasperated my wife. And you've never seen an exasperated Cantor, have you?
No, I never did. Well, what happened to little Janet?
Well, my wife wanted to give her an old-fashioned spanking, but couldn't catch her. The child hid under the bed, and when I got home from the studio, Mrs. Cantor told me what happened and asked me to bring Janet out from underneath the bed. As I started to crawl under, what do you think Janet said?
I don't know. Go on, tell me.
She said, "Hello, Pop. Is Mama after you, too?"
Well, I'll bet Mrs. Cantor has a lot of trouble bringing up 5 girls just the same, Eddie.
Oh, yes. My wife has a lot of trouble bringing up the kids, but she's done a swell job so far. You know, Jimmy, I've worked pretty hard in pictures and on the stage, but I share my applause with her when I get home.
You have a regular 50-50 arrangement, eh?
Oh, more than that. You know, I'm not a sentimentalist, but she can have everything I've got. And it's been that way ever since I proposed to Ida.
That reminds me again, Eddie. I'm anxious to know just how a comedian would propose. How does he do it?
Well, I tell you, I said, "I love you, Ida. I haven't got a cent." And she said, "I love you too, Eddie. I haven't got a cent." "Okay," I said, "we'll start married life 2 cents short." "Ida," I said, "I'm not so much on education. I haven't read a lot of books. You know I have no reputation. And say, let's not talk about my looks. Without a single thing to give you, how can I show my love is real? Right now, there's no way I can prove it except to tell you how I feel. If I only had a 5-cent piece, enough to buy a cup of coffee, I'd drink water instead and go begging for bread. But I'd give the nickel to you. If I only had a 3-cent stamp on a note that's going to Frisco, with a song and a smile, I would tramp every mile and give those 3 pennies to you. And when my ship comes in with its fortune, gold all over its deck, I start banking my fortune, but you will sign all the checks. If I only had
60 seconds to live, to fill this heart of mine with sunshine. I stay close to your side and be so satisfied to give my last minute to you. If I only had an overcoat, and though the wintry winds were blowing, I would weather the storm so that you would keep warm. I'd give my one coat to you. If I only had one pair of shoes, and you know I wear size 11, I would give you the pair, and we'd have leather to spare to cut out a pocketbook too. Give me a chance, and I'll gladly prove it. Ask for the sun from the sky, I'll fly up and remove it. And you know how I hate to fly. If I only had a 5-cent piece, enough to get a cup of coffee, I drink water instead and go begging for bread, but I'd give the nickel to you.
You are listening to KFI Los Angeles. This is the Chase and Sanborn Coffee Hour, directed by Rubinoff and starring Eddie Cantor, who tonight returns for his winter series of broadcasts. In Eddie's honor, Rubinoff and his orchestra present a novelty written especially for this occasion by Ernie Watson, one of the members of the band. Welcome home, Eddie.
Hello. Cantor's back, suppose you know. How do you like hearing him once more? Not bad, eh? We're not sore. Rubinoff and the rest of the band asked me to give him a welcoming hand. So, Eddie, we offer you 50 hellos and a song of welcome. Ready? Here goes. Welcome, Eddie, from Rubinoff, and all the boys as well. Welcome, Eddie. Say, how's the coast? We hear your picture's swell. The air's been quiet since you went off. We missed that master touch. And all those cracks about Rubinoff. We didn't miss them, not much. Listen, Eddie, the boys themselves are going to wish you well. But they'll say it with music, see, in sections. Should sound swell. That's the tune that'll play. Welcome, Eddie. Each says it a different way. The fiddles are first, sweet and low. You'd think they were welcoming Greta Garbo. The woodwind, clarinet, oboe, and flute. There, that takes in everyone. Just as we had planned. Unless you want to figure Rubinoff. Hey, after all, it is his band. Well, Eddie, there's the musical phrases. There's only one guy more welcome. That's Rubinoff. He pays us.
Why, hello, George.
Why, hello, Jimmy. How have you been?
I've been fine. Say, Eddie, I want you to know my good friend George Hudson.
Oh.
I'm very glad to meet you, Mr. Cantor. I've been wanting to meet you for a long time. You've been doing very well, haven't you?
Oh, very well. How do you say very well? Last year, Goldwyn paid me $250,000 for a picture, and I got $50,000 for my literary efforts and about $100,000 for vaudeville, and with my work on the year, very well. Say, I must have made a total of $750,000.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. You know who I am?
No.
I'm the income tax collector for the theatrical district.
You know who I am? I'm the biggest liar on the air. Goodbye, Mr. Hudson.
I'll sue you later.
I'll sue you. What kind of talk is that? Nice work. Fine friends you bring me, Jimmy. You know, if I had my way, I'd keep the tax and let the government keep the income. Do you know?
Oh, the government, Eddie. I'd almost forgotten. You know, when you left, I thought that you would be nominated for president by either the Republicans or the Democrats. What happened?
I'll tell you, Jimmy. I had my name in ready to be nominated by the Republicans, and they crossed it off. Then I had my name up ready to be nominated by the Democrats, and they crossed it off.
You were crossed off twice.
Yes, sir. Double crossed. Well, you know, maybe it's a good thing I'm not going to be president. You know,
Why?
After all, you know, the president of today is just a 2-cent stamp of tomorrow. But listen, you know, I'd rather be right than president, and Hoover knows it. If you don't think so, listen to this letter I got from him a week ago. Look.
Yeah? Read it to me.
Dear Eddie, the Republican Party did not nominate the best man. I know how capable you are, and if I am reelected, I will appoint you to a position second only to that of president.
Maybe he means vice president.
No. I talk too much for that.
But what if Roosevelt is elected?
Hoover doesn't know that I got a telegram from Roosevelt saying that if he gets into the White House, I'll be right beside him in a position that he's going to make for me.
I wonder what job he has in mind, Eddie.
Well, maybe by next week, Jimmy, I'll be able to tell you. And I know it'll be something good. It's got to be. Both Hoover and Roosevelt know that I understand children. And if you've got the children of this country, and you know I've got most of them right in my own family, you've got power. The first thing I'd advise the president when I get into my new position is to make a hit with the children by simplifying the spelling of the English language. That's one of the reasons why Teddy Roosevelt became so famous. Before Roosevelt, you know how they spelled potato?
No, Eddie. How did they spell potato?
Like this. P-O-E-T, poet, E-I-G-H-T-8, O-W-E-O, potato. But today, thanks to Teddy Roosevelt, you just spell it, well, just potato. Now take the word trousers. He simplified the spelling in a second.
So how did he spell trousers?
P-A-N-T-S. That helped the kiddies in school, you see.
So let's tell me, how are you going to help the kiddies?
I'm going to simplify grammar. For instance, what is the plural of ox?
Oxen.
That's right.
Certainly it's
So
right.
I'll make the plural of box, boxen. Simple enough. Now, what's the plural of mouse?
Mice.
That's right. So the plural of house is heist. And what is the plural of man?
Men, of course.
Right. Then the plural of fan is fen. You know the plural of foot?
Well, according to you, it must be footin'.
No. It's footses. 1 feet is a foot, and 2 footses is a feet. So if I speak of a foot and you show me your feet, and I give you a boot, would a pair be called beat? If one is a tooth and the whole set are teeth, then more than one telephone booth makes 2 beats. If the singular is this and the plural is these, then the plural of kiss should always be keys. Then 1 may be that and 3 may be those, so hat in the plural must surely be hose. When a cat meets another cat, there are 2 co's. The masculine pronouns are he, his, and him. Imagine the feminine, she, shiz, and shim. Listen, I go, I am going, you go, and he went. I row, I am rowing, you row, and he rent. We speak of a brother and also a brethren. So when you say mother, be sure to say metherin. Man's, woman's, and child's must follow these rulin', invented by Cantor and taught in all schoolin'. And finally, the plural of goose must be geese, and the plural of duck must be... Why should anybody hate to go to school? How can anybody stay away? There's a lot of things you can learn to do at school. If you felt like me, you'd be glad to say, I love to go to school 'cause I love my teacher. I love my teacher, I do. There may be other schools, but there's no teacher like my sweet teacher, that's true. I'm jealous of a doctor who sees teacher every day. I'm gonna bring her apples just to keep the doc away. I love to go to school 'cause I love my teacher. You'd love my teacher if you knew teacher too. Oh, I love to go to school 'cause I love my teacher. I love my teacher, I do. There may be other schools, but there's no teacher like my sweet teacher, that's true.
I started in that public school when I was only 10. If it wasn't for the public, I'd go back to school again. I love to go to school 'cause I love my teacher. You'd love my teacher if you knew teacher too. Oh, I love to go to school 'cause I love my teacher. I love my teacher, I do. There may be other schools, but there's no teacher like my sweet teacher, that's true. She went on her vacation and the pupils yelled hooray. She missed my what and came running back next day. I love to go to school 'cause I love my teacher. You'd love my teacher if you knew teacher too.
The man who has directed our scientific research work on coffee really needs no introduction. He has consented to give a series of one-minute talks in which he will give you, in plain language, the results of these investigations. I take pleasure in presenting Dr. R.E. Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Wallington. In addition to our extensive research work on Fleischmann's yeast, we have for the past 3 years been supporting research work in several large university laboratories to determine the real facts about coffee. We've learned some very remarkable things about the value and importance of this delicious beverage. And in this series of one-minute talks, I have been asked to pass on to you some of the interesting scientific facts that have been found by our investigators. I want to tell you how fresh coffee increases your muscular and your mental efficiency, how it delays the onset of fatigue, and how it helps you get more enjoyment out of life. And particularly, I wish to explain the real importance of freshness in coffee and what happens when coffee becomes old and stale and why we were led to put the date on every pound of Chasen Sandburn dated coffee. The facts about coffee, revealed by the magic hand of science, are as fascinating as a mystery story. I hope you will enjoy these talks, which tonight I have only been able to outline. Thank you.
Isn't it great to be outdoors and get a breath of air?
Extra. Morning Gazette. Paper, mister? Well, all I've got is a $10 bill. Jimmy, have you got 2 cents? Jimmy. Can you imagine he disappeared? Boy, have you got change for $10?
No, but if you hold my papers, I'll go and get it.
Well, all right, if you'll trust me with the papers.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Why, aren't you Eddie Cantor, the famous comedian?
I'm Eddie Cantor.
And to think You're here selling papers.
No. I'm just holding them for a boy.
Oh, you needn't apologize, Mr. Cantor. I know how times are. I'll buy a paper and you can keep the change.
Look, I tell you, I'm not selling papers. I sing songs, I blacken up, I sell coffee, I write articles, I make pictures, I play in vaudeville, I invest in real estate, I raise daughters, I run for president, but I don't sell papers, not yet.
There. That's all right, Mr. Cantor. I won't tell anybody I saw you selling papers.
Look, I'll prove to you that I'm not selling papers. Here, I'll throw them in the gutter.
Here, young fella. I'll pick up them papers. You can't throw junk in the gutters.
That's not junk, officer. That's the Morning Gazette. Look, it mentions you in the paper.
Oh, is that so? Where?
Here, it says New York has 7,200,000 inhabitants. You're one of them.
Go on. That's not a good paper.
It's not, eh? Say, listen, the Morning Gazette is first in everything. Look what it says. Yesterday, we were the first newspaper to publish the death of Jimmy Wallington. Today, we are the first newspaper to deny the report. The Morning Gazette is always in the lead.
Well, how's our country coming along? Is there any improvement?
Well, there's an editorial here that says our country is going to the dogs, but it's not true. The dogs had a conference and they don't want us.
Oh, say, there's a picture of a pretty woman on the witness stand. What is she doing there?
Well, that's the woman that stabbed her husband in Brooklyn a couple of months ago, remember?
Oh, is that true?
But she has a great defense. The judge asked her why she stabbed her husband, and she said, I heard the police coming and I had to hide the knife somewhere.
Well, what's the latest in football?
Oh, here, the sporting page. The Yale halfback is tackling the dean's daughter. She is the goal of his affections. He's been making steady gains towards her. Yesterday, he was near the 15-yard line, and in the scrimmage, her father kicked him half back to the campus, and he wants 10 yards for interference.
Well, you've read me all the news. I don't have to buy the paper. And don't try to throw them away, or I'll pull you in.
Yeah.
Well, Eddie, what are you doing with those papers?
I'm holding them for a newsboy. He went away to change my $10 bill.
Oh,
laugh.
boy, that's a good one. He went away to change a $10 bill, eh? Why, he'll never come back.
Don't say that, Jimmy. Don't. These New York newsboys are as honest as the day is long.
Yeah, but the days are getting shorter and shorter.
Quiet. You're inferring that the kid won't come back? Don't fool yourself. Say, I trust any newsboy. Some of the biggest men in New York sold papers when they were kids.
Well, that's right, Eddie. You're right. To tell you the truth, I sold papers myself when I was a boy.
Yeah?
Yes, sir. You know, I'm a self-made man.
Yeah, you knocked off work too soon.
Here's your change, mister. Much obliged for holding my
Yes,
papers.
Jimmy, I told you to come back. And wait a minute. Here's 50 cents for you, my lad.
Oh, gee, that's swell.
Yeah, I should say it is swell. Say, Bud, do you know who this man is that just gave you the $50?
Sure, everybody knows him.
See?
I see him in pictures.
Yeah.
Gee, swell.
Well, why don't you thank him then?
All right. Thank you very much, Buster Keaton.
Give me back that $50 you...
Don't hurt him. Give me... Rubinoff's violin solo. He plays the colorful composition Chanson Bohème. Eddie, I want to say something. It's right from the heart. It's certainly good to have you back. You liven up the town, you know?
Seems to be enough life on Broadway, Jimmy.
Yes, you bet. They're all rushing to save a minute, you know.
Yeah, and what are they going to do with it? You know the fellow who proposed to a girl in the automobile and she accepted him in the hospital? The speedometer said 60 miles an hour. The motorcycle cop said it was 90. The pedestrian said it was a shame. He said it was the life. And his friend said it was flowers.
Well, what is all the rush for anyway, Eddie?
People fall all over each other trying to get money. Not that money is bad, Jimmy. Eye specialists say that green quiets the nerves, especially greenbacks. But the dollar can never fall as low as the means some people adopt to get it.
Well, how can you avoid this mad hunt for money?
You must just avoid a colorless life. Keep in the pink of condition. Do things up brown. Treat people white. Be well read. Get out onto the green, under the blue, so things won't look so black. Know when to stop and when to go. Stop being afraid. Stop worrying. Stop hoarding. Stop whining. Stop grasping. Stop looking back. Stop looking down. Stop stopping and let's go. The green light is on. Attend to your business. Leave the other fellows alone. And more important, get a little fun out of life. Everybody likes to give good advice on how to live. They mean well, but they are often wrong. Live your life as you see fit. Give yourself the best of it. Here's the only way to get along. If you want loving, go out and make love. Get a little fun out of life. Do all the nice things that you're thinking of. Get a little fun out of life. What does it get you to struggle and slave? What do you gain by the things that you say? What can you do with one foot in the grave? So get a little fun out of life. If you like coffee, drink all that you wish. Get a little fun out of life. If you like fishing, there's plenty of fish. Get a little fun out of life. I have an uncle who's one of those cranks. He kept his money in 12 different banks. They closed one morning without saying thanks. So get a little fun out of life. If you like singing, stand right up and sing. Get a little fun out of life. Don't go around with your face in a sling. Get a little fun out of life. Get all the joys that are coming to you. If you like children, and most people do. If you meet someone who likes children too, say, get a little fun out of life.
Fresh coffee is good for you, science says. But what is fresh coffee? Well, fresh coffee is coffee that hasn't had time to grow stale after it's roasted. That's why Chase & Sanborn's dated coffee is always fresh, because it's rushed to grocers all over the United States and Canada by the same marvelous fleet of service cars that deliver Fleischmann's fresh yeast. Other coffee producers have tried to keep freshness in their coffee by packing it in elaborate containers. But freshness is a matter of time, not of packing. And Chase & Sanborn's is still the only coffee delivered this way. Chase & Sanborn's dated coffee is delivered fresh to your grocer with the delivery date stamped on every can. And no can of it is allowed to remain on a grocer's shelf more than 10 days. So if you want to drink good coffee, and if you're anxious to enjoy that extra cup, use Chase & Sanborn's dated coffee. The coffee that can't be stale. Coffee that's fresh is good for you. Try a pound of Chase & Sanborn's dated coffee tomorrow. We've just got one more minute before the hour is up. Is there anything else you'd like to say to your listeners?
Just this. I love to spend this hour with you. As friend to friend, I'm sorry it's true. I'm telling you just how I feel. I hope you feel that way too. Let's make a date for next Sunday night. I'm here to state 'twill be my delight to bring again, sing again, the things you want me to. I love to spend this hour with you. Good night.
Next week, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have another Chase and Sanborn Coffee Hour starring Eddie Cantor. The Chase and Sanborn Orchestra plays an overture of Italian airs, and Rubinoff will play as one of his violin solos, the immortal Souvenir. Eddie Cantor will reveal a new position to which he will be appointed after election. James Wallington speaking. Good night.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
KFI Los Angeles,